Mamas. Thank you for joining us again. This is season 1, episode 2. And hopefully you guys we aren't going to introduce ourselves this time, even though it's new because we did a Meet the Collective on our first episode. But this week, we're going to talk about what I like to call coronation time. So I don't know about you guys, but when I was younger, I loved to dress up and pretend like I was a princess. Anyone else do that?
Oh, yeah.
I think just
I dressed Barbie up.
Oh, yes.
did it.
That's true. A couple
No. I used to use
That's
my
true.
first communion veil and pretend
yeah.
all the
That's
time.
beautiful.
Because it had a little headband.
Oh,
that's
cute.
cute.
I had the plastic
I loved
shoes
mine.
and the plastic stuff.
Oh, yeah,
But
I know.
mine was not as cool as that. I think I had a first communion, like, little headband.
Oh, yeah.
It was the
I
full
had
veil.
the complete
Yeah,
70s
yeah.
Oh, yes.
looking vibe.
Yeah.
Anyway, but as far as being a princess, you just think, like, especially with, like, Disney movies and, like, fun fairy tales, like, every girl wants to be a princess. And I think that's kind of universal. Even in a different kind of princess, there's all different kinds. So everybody grows up, wants to be a princess. And I know Pamela and I have talked about this. Like, some of us had to make pretend that our lives were like a princess, and some of us actually had the princess life. Tell us more.
My friends
Go ahead, Pamela.
My friends listening are chuckling right now.
Princess Pamela, do share.
Oh my goodness. So I grew up the total opposite life that I live now. So I had live-in nannies from, I think, since I was born until about 14, until I could watch my sister, and they did everything for me. And unfortunately, they did not teach me how to do anything. So I was the girl in college asking my college roommate, who's probably listening and chuckling right now, that she taught me how to do my laundry. And it was actually quite embarrassing. So yeah, I have had to learn not only how to raise human beings, but also how to keep a home and how to make it nice for, those that you love inside your home. I mean, all these new concepts that extend the role of, motherhood. And so that has been, and not to mention too, just like being driven to kind of be selfish in like how you approach success, career, all of that, and kind of with a me mentality. And then to kind of, I always knew I wanted to stay at home, even since I was little, and maybe some of my background had to do with that. I don't know. But I had zero training for it in all the ways. And that princess mentality really hits home.
Yeah.
Because I think the princess mentality is cultivated, but that's something that there's coloring books for it, and there's Barbies for it, and there's shows for it, and then you grow up. And the reason we called this one Coronation is because when you become a mom and you grow up and you have a household, you become a queen. And I really got this idea from one night I was crying in the bathtub, which a lot of my stories are going to start with me crying somewhere. And it was like, I can't do this, and like I'm better than this, and I don't want to fill sippy cups and do anyway. Just the rant that I think a lot of people, I don't know that anyone loves diapers and sippy cups and cleaning up toys for the 8,000th time, but I was really having a crisis of identity with it. And I came across in a book this quote by Chesterton. It's called The Emancipation on Domesticity, and it just reframed the way I looked at motherhood and what this job was. And so it says here, people begin to talk about domestic. It's in a whole huge pamphlet that he did, but he says, when people begin to talk about this domestic duty as not merely difficult but trivial and dreary, I just give up. And like, who hasn't felt like part of what they do on a daily basis is trivial and dreary? But I have hope for you. Listen. He says, I cannot, then there's going to be a bunch of references that I don't really understand because they're English references, but anyway, I cannot with the utmost energy of imagination conceive what they mean. When domesticity, for instance, is called drudgery, all the difficulty arises from the double meaning of the word. If drudgery only means dreadfully hard work, I admit the woman drudges at home, as a man might drudge at the Cathedral of Ames or drudge behind the granite Trafalgar, like in war or building. But if it means that the hard work is heavy because it's trifle, colorless, or of small import to the soul, then like I say, I give up. I don't know what the words would mean. And this is where the coronation line comes from. To be Queen Elizabeth within a definite area, deciding sales, banquets, labor's holidays. To be Whitley within a certain area, providing toys, boots, sheets, sheet cakes, I don't really know why it's that, in books, to be Aristotle within a certain area, teaching morals, manners, theology, hygiene. I understand how this might exhaust the mind, but how could it ever possibly narrow it? How can it be large to tell one's own children about the universe, and yet broad to be the same thing to everyone, and narrow to be everything to someone? No, a woman's function is laborious, but because it is gigantic, not because it is minute. I will not pity Miss Jones for her task. I will never pity her for the smallness, only for the hugeness of her task. Mm-hmm. And that was just reframed the entire way I looked at motherhood. Like that all of us, like you have to keep peace within countries, like that's siblings,
Mm-hmm.
And friends at school, in different families. Like you are the person keeping peace. You have to be the dietitian and the health. You have to educate them. Like, yes, a lot of kids go to school for reading, writing, arithmetic, but you're educating like their whole person. Like you are the cook, you are 1,000 different little things, and it's huge. And that was just such a revelation to me to look at it that way, instead of thinking, oh, I have to do this again. I have to help. The kids are fighting again. I'm picking this up again. I have to cook this thing again. Like it was always a drudgery. And a lot of us, especially if you've worked before, you stayed home to be a mom, you think, I used to have like this fabulous, get dressed up, go somewhere. I had this job. I had this identity.
Be among adults.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's how I felt coming here.
I'll tell you, what a transition to go from. I feel like living out my corporate dream, working an amazing corporate job. I was in professional sports and entertainment, and I chose to leave that to become. I wasn't pregnant yet. I was a newlywed when I had resigned from the company that I was at. Do we talk specifically, or do I
I
just?
know.
Okay. So I love to tell my story. Liz doesn't know
wanna
yet. Yeah. Before I became a mom, I was doing PR marketing for Mark Cuban and the Dallas Mavericks, his movie production companies, his other high-tech companies, other sporting leagues that he owned. I was part of the the global marketing team that was really taking his new businesses to the next level. But we had my role as like the global marketing liaison was more on the TV side and the movie production side. A little bit of the Mavericks too, the NBA Dallas Mavericks. And it was an amazing job. I loved what I did, and even the way that I got that opportunity to be so young in my professional career, a couple of years out of college, was incredible. That I had gotten married, and 3 years into the job, I was still a newlywed. I can't do the math right now, but something clicked. I will say, as my husband, my high school sweetheart, as he proposed to me, I started working at the job. We get into a year of marriage, 2 years of marriage, and I did not want to have kids. It was like, you guys, I have a career.
Yeah.
I have a career. I work 7 days a week.
So relatable. So many people.
So important.
Yeah.
I have no time for kids. And here my husband is when he proposed. He's an only child, and all he could think about was, I cannot wait to have a huge family. I cannot wait. And here I'm like, let's push it off because, it's so important. I'm such a corporate person, so important. Anyway, fast forward, my cousin who's my age, he and his wife have their first child, and seeing them in the hospital room when, in the nursery, when you can see the baby when they're first presented to the world, like Simba, like it clicked. It finally clicked. 3 years into that job, it clicked, and I'm still a newlywed. I think I'm only married 2 years, and it clicked, and I thought, oh my gosh, I think I want that.
Really?
2 weeks after my cousin had his baby, he had his baby August 12th, 2 weeks later, I resigned from Mark Cuban Companies. And I basically said, I think I want to be a mom, and I can't stay here if I'm going to be a mom. It just wouldn't be awesome. So, yeah, I walked away from that. So, what was really hard, okay, so, and then all these amazing things, we miscarried first, and then 5 months later, miraculously conceived our oldest son now, who's 14. I remember, and I had my second son 17 months later, so they were 17 months apart, and I went from this, high-powered corporate glamorous life with the sports, the professional athletes and Hollywood celebrities, to being at home
Oh, in your
with
house.
these 2 babies under 2 at one point, husband traveling internationally for work, sometimes 2 weeks at a time.
Oh my gosh.
It was miserable. I was lonely. I breastfeeding was probably the hardest thing I had to overcome and like really
talk
talk
about
myself
that
through.
sometime. Yeah.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
And husband's got to be they've got to be a great coach so you don't give up. But just the alienation, the loneliness, and just confused. Like I thought I wanted to be a mom, and the Lord blessed me with these 2 babies, but gosh, this isn't fun. And I miss the adult interaction, and I miss I missed working. I missed crushing and slaying and having proof that I was doing a good job.
Yeah.
And then like the house being a mess and like not really having anyone to talk to because I'm, didn't even have time to like wash my hair, wash my face,
Yeah.
barely have time to go to the bathroom. I mean,
Yeah.
the first 2, when I had from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, miserable. Miserable.
It is. And it is funny because even with the thinking about this like princess to queen mentality, I think so many of us, and I did too, because I just had like 2 kids when I had read this. I was thinking, oh, now I'm super important. I have this super job. I'm a queen. And I think of queen as just being like a grown-up princess, so like a prince, like you go from whatever it is, like you're getting older and then you start buying your own clothes and you get a car, then you pick your college, and then you get to you get married, you plan every little thing in your wedding, and then you get to get an apartment or a house and you pick out your furniture. And then I think of, I'm going to be a queen now as it's more of me. Like now I'm just a bigger boss of a bigger company with a bigger house. And it's like, for those of you that ever watched British TV or Masterpiece Theater, that is not the role of a queen.
No, it's not.
No. You ever seen, like, was it Victoria?
Yeah, I
or
feel like,
what are
Liz,
the
you
different
watch
I
these
saw
shows.
them all.
For those of us who are not privy to
Oh, I
British,
love them.
No,
Like,
the
how does
role
this
of a
correlate?
queen
Like
is
they-
100% duty.
It's not about them at
It's not
all.
fun. It's duty. And I kind of approached. There was some princess in my upbringing. My coach used to call me princess, and it wasn't a nice term. But I was always taught that it was love first, self second. The team came first. The family came first. And as I became older, it was, the common good comes first. Everything comes first. But when I had the same experience you guys had when I had my first child, even the second, I'm like, this is not fun. And unfortunately, what I did is just because my work ethic is just put your head down and work, just do it. I approached the whole thing as it was duty. It was my duty to raise the best children I could, be the most informed mother I could.
And you just did that right away.
And but
Pretty
here's
much.
what I missed. I missed any joy that there was because I was so just concerned and concentrated on my obligation to do the best that I could, And so then I seemed to miss out on there was nothing easy to me about babies, but babies can be super sweet and gentle, but that didn't matter. I had a schedule. I had a routine. We had to be on that schedule. I'm sorry we can't go there because the babies have a nap at that time. You know what I mean? So
rigid.
I missed
You're just
out.
rigid.
I was Didn't very enjoy it rigid as much. because I viewed it as a queen actually, but the job of a queen is to get the job done.
Yeah.
and to not so much
Yeah.
about the experience.
No,
You're just
not
there
at
to
all.
get it done.
And you're not there to enjoy it. And that was a big mistake.
You're speaking to me right now because I'm kind of like that.
Yeah.
And I sense sometimes I have those moments, but you're kind of letting me
yeah.
realize it's gone before you know it and not.
And
to
everybody
get
used
so
to say
wrapped up in
that
it.
to me, but I
I know.
couldn't. I
I
couldn't
know, they say
hear
it to me
that.
a lot.
And my biggest pet peeve was when people tell me they grow up so fast. I'm like, stop it.
You're like,
Yeah,
time
I
to
get
go.
that
a lot.
Creeps
That's
by
great.
any slower.
Get
Right.
growing
Yes.
because we're
This
gonna
is
we're gonna
painful.
win this game.
Yes.
I'm gonna win the parenting game, and it was
Yes, that's the athlete.
and it
I was going to say the inner
100%.
competitor in you.
It
for
is,
sure.
but it's not necessarily the best
Interesting.
way. No.
See, I
Yeah, how
have
did you-
no
how did you
inner,
crawl your
I
way
have
out of that?
no inner athlete, as my kids will attest. Like their favorite thing is like throwing things to me, and they just hit my body and fall on the ground. Like no instinct to
Yep.
do anything.
Yep.
So for me, it was just overcoming myself and
Yeah.
selfishness. Quite honestly, like all growing up, your home, or if it was your room, or then your entire house, is your place of relaxation. Like you go to the world, or you go out to work, or you go to school, or you go to a social situation, and you work, and you put your best foot forward, and you watch how you say and what you say and how you come off. But then you come home and you kick your feet up and you can relax and you just kind of rejuvenate. And I'm introverted, so I need that kind of down, settling, no one needs anything time. So I really, really had a hard time with the fact that now my home is my office. And it's not just my place anymore. It's not my place where it's all about me. But you're so right that it is a balance, because I think because of that, I did a complete flip where it's all about the kids and it's all about my husband. And I'm trying to work as they're adult kids now, how to re-engage the relationships like that. Yes, am I also enjoying this? Yes, am I also showing up? So it's good having these kind of conversations because I had to make it not about me. Okay. Since I was being so selfish and I was so frustrated with the situation, or like, I don't want to do this or this diaper or this, clean this up, like, because I don't want to work at home all the time. My answer to that was to just work. Like, oh, this is a job. I'm just going to work. And I just worked. But then, that balance is then also make sure that you find ways to enjoy your kids. And we'll have to really get into that, because that's a big, that's something now in the phase 3, Mom. Now are we phases? Yeah, stages.
We said phase. We said phase earlier.
3.
Yes, phase. We're in the
And
phases.
phase 3. So that like I'm trying to reconcile those a little bit. So like in everything, like life is just a balance.
But it's funny you say that, because now that my kids are grown adults with their own families, I am reconstructing my relationship with them. Because I'm no longer their planner, we're gonna get you where you need to go. And so I'm at the stage now where I'm reconstructing it as just their friend. And it's such an overused term, but I will mentor you if you still want me to mentor you. But it's more relaxed. It's a more relaxed approach. Quite frankly, you go raise your kids. I'm good.
I love that. That's why walk in the mom collective. Before that we were, hey moms, let's talk. To have that mentor, to have somebody like accompany you and you think that you're alone or that you're alone, like how it affects our mental attitude, our mind game, to just like shift into the way that you see the job before you completely affects who you are to your kids, to your husband.
I basically was just
that,
selfish about not wanting. I just wanted my home to be rest and relaxation because I needed that time away as an introvert.
Like you said,
you went straight into like work mode. I'm going to win because I'm an athlete.
Absolutely, it was 100%
And what did you do? Like, did you deal with was it just you realized what it was and that was kind of overwhelming? Like, did you deal with I don't know.
To be perfectly honest, what got me out of that
point of motherhood.
What got me out of that was, I feel like I was just at an all-time low, just being lonely, really feeling lonely. And I'm a very social person. I get a lot out of adult interaction. Y'all, I had to really lean on my faith. I had a reversion in my Catholic faith. My husband saw how worn out I was when we had a 3 and 4-year-old. And he said, you need to go on retreat. I was like, okay. I don't have time. I'll take it. Our parish had Christ Renews His Parish Church. And I did a weekend retreat church. And that was the rest and relaxation to rest and relax and just be with him and let him encounter me then and there. That was the beginning to my realizing what the vocational role in motherhood was all about, and that it wasn't something to dread, that it wasn't something to loathe. And I immediate transformation. Everybody saw it.
Wow.
From my kids to my husband to my mom, who just saw this light.
Wow.
I really did. So that I will never forget 2014, everything changed. And then saying yes to serving at the church, and then other Catholic ministries, and then meeting someone like Celeste who I thought was in my head, this woman's got it going on. She has it all together. Her kids are amazing.
Amen.
Just
Yeah,
keep on
amen.
walking. Just keep
And
on
interesting
Amen.
enough, through the Catholic ministries I was serving, I met your husband before I met you. And then
Mhm.
after I met you, I was like,
Oh, yeah.
she's my kind of chick, because I feel like just being in her sphere is probably going to make me not just a better, stronger woman, but probably a better mom.
It's funny, my opening party line is always, it's funny, I have 7 kids, and a lot of people know my children. And they think that I love kids because of that, and I don't actually.
Yeah.
When we first, with all the
This
kids.
is where
I
this is
know,
where
so
she affirms
my
me.
opening line is always like, yeah, I kind of hate being pregnant. I don't really like babies. Like, I barely liked my own babies. Like,
I like the pregnant part.
I don't like
it's
either.
the work when they come out. I know.
Oh, yeah.
Pregnancy's easy.
But it's a small price for an eternal soul.
It is.
I mean,
It's true.
it's,
It is.
you don't
It is.
have
It
to
is.
love
Small
all of
price
it,
for
and
an
that's
eternal soul.
fine. And but ultimately, it's a transition of who we are, and I think it's really part of our call to holiness and call to wholeness, and like continuing for us to grow up. You know, we need to grow up and not be a princess our whole lives.
Yeah.
You know, and we need. Like John Paul II talks about too, that we find ourselves in our vocation, in our working. Like in working, you find what you're good at, you know, and you also find what you're not so good at. But
Right.
that's really the point at which that you can bind yourself to the Lord, and that's why it is a vocation, and that's why He wants us to really lean into this role of motherhood. So.
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you for attending my counseling session. Thank you
Great
for letting
story.
me share. Thank you all for
That was a really good.
for making me feel like I'm not alone.
You're not.
You're not.
But
You're not.
thank you, all of you. You're so busy. Thank you so much for joining us. For those of you who are like me, YouTube mamas, follow, like, subscribe. If you're on Spotify, please do the same. We would really appreciate the support.
Or you can find us throughout the week. Join the Mom Collective at Instagram, Facebook, or themomcollective.org.
And if you know someone who might be interested in this conversation, please share us with them.
And until we chat again, remember, you were handpicked for this. So just lean in. We'll see you next week.